So this may be the last bit of info I'm going to be sharing with you guys via Game Informer. We've gotten a lot of info from the past week or two for RE4 Remake, and now I believe their work is done, and shout out to them to give us new info, gameplay, and content for all of us. There was an interview they released talking to the co-directors of the remake coming out next month, Yasuhiro Ampo and Kazunori Kadoi. They explained the creative design of the remake and other details. I will be reading parts of the interview and share my thoughts in between, so let's get into the video now. Ampo and Kadoi have plenty of experience working on Resident Evil. Their combined credits span the original 1996 game to titles such as Resident Evil Outbreak, RE5, and Revelations 2, the latter two of which were directed by Ampo himself. As a directorial duo, the pair's most impressive accomplishment is leading the creation of the critically acclaimed remake of Resident Evil 2, which launched in 2019. And I quote from Ampo himself, "Among the RE series and even games in general, the original RE4 has become a legend. I knew that it would be difficult to successfully remake it, and if we made one mistake with any updates we made, we would anger its fans. When I first heard about remaking RE4, my impression was that since the original is a masterpiece, a remake would be difficult, so I didn't want to do it. I've said this in many videos of mine, and when I first heard about it as well, I didn't want to remake neither, and I was more worried than anything else, especially with RE3 Remake and the criticism and cut content it got. I was more hoping for any of the other fixed camera games to get this treatment, like Code Veronica, Outbreak, Zero, and even one remake again." Moving on to another quote. "For RE2, you could feel how much it had been updated just from the new camera system, for example, but for RE4, we knew that wouldn't really be the case, so one of the first things we did as a team was discuss how we would handle this. Step 1 of alleviating that pressure, don't recapture lightning in a bottle. The original game revolutionized the genre, so attempting to repeat that feat wouldn't be possible according to Ampo. Instead, Ampo and Kadoi decided to stay largely faithful to the original and incorporate evolutions introduced throughout the series since its release to create, quote-unquote, a new form of Resident Evil game. If they could pull that off, then maybe fans would accept it. One area for expansion that came to Ampo's mind from the start was the scenario elements, the characters, and plot. Though the team would retain the core characterization of Leon, Ashley, and others, a remake allowed them to flesh out their personalities, interactions, backstory via elements like additional lore notes. In the original game, I didn't really find much lore, to be completely honest with you, and I only viewed Ashley as just this sort of escort tool that I had to guide to safety. So if they do, and they will, implement a new sort of character with Ashley, I think it's going to be a lot better. They're going to do the exact same with Leon. I think him having like this PTSD effect reflecting on Raccoon City could be a great thing to do. Expanding on Krauser, talking about Operation Javier or his life even before that stuff would be great. Luis as well, Ada, Sadler, Salazar, pretty much everybody that you can think of. I would love to see stuff like that with backstory, lore notes, etc. Another mechanic that stuck out like a sore thumb was Resident Evil 4's numerous QuickTime events. Early in development, it was decided to strip as many of them away as much as possible. While a bummer for fans who still enjoy furiously mashing a button to help Leon invade that Indiana Jones-style rolling boulder, Kadoi believes QTEs don't have that popularity or appeal they once had. And I 100% agree with that statement because in the past 5, maybe 7 years, I have not seen any sort of game that had a lot of QuickTime events that was really well received, I should say. Resident Evil 6 was completely full of them, and that game was not received well as well. So to know that they put, cutscene QuickTime events away, I'm pretty glad about that. I think there will be some minor gameplay QuickTime events, but that seems pretty innocent personally. By quote via Kadoi, "We really did not think players today would enjoy them, so we thought about what we could implement to take their place. The solution to reworking these sequences arose from examining the knife fight with Jack Krauser. In the original game, the confrontation unfolds entirely through QTEs. The team asked themselves, if we wanted to fight with a knife in the remake, how could we do it? That question eventually spawned the remake's new knife parry mechanic, which preserved the spirit of that battle in a more engaging form. This was a game changer as the team soon realized this system could be applied beyond this boss fight to the rest of the game in standard encounters. This provided to be a fun addition, instilling plenty of confidence that the team was on the right track." And I quote from Kadoi once again, "Once the parry mechanic had been implemented, from that point when I played the original, I found myself wanting to parry in the original as well. That was when I felt things became really interesting. In terms of visuals, the team looked at Resident Evil 7 and Village as references for how a modern Resident Evil game should look from a fidelity standpoint. Speaking of Village, Resident Evil 4's new side quest spun out of that game's upgrade system, in which players acquired upgrades by bringing ingredients to the Duke. These new quests tied into perhaps the biggest areas Ampo and Kadoi hope to expand, player choice and replayability." And I quote via Ampo, "Within the confines of fighting, the combat is really well done, and the choices you have when fighting are rather varied. But outside of that, we felt there wasn't a lot of choice and thought there was room for updates there. This paved the way for adding more situations to use stealth, as we see a stealth kill right here via Game Informer, giving players a totally different option to combat beyond running and gunning. To supplement this approach, the new bolt thrower weapon was added as well. Making a game that you have fun playing by yourself is important, says Ampo. If you're making a game, you play it over and over during the course of development, and eventually you'll probably start to get bored. But with the remake of RE2, no matter how much I played it, I never became bored. That's an important core factor. Kodoy states that Resident Evil 4 is the culmination of the years spent developing both it and the original game. In his mind, Capcom should be able to make something better with that much work behind it. They may have shied away from remaking this classic in the beginning, but now he and Ampo feel confident they've identified the right elements to improve or completely rework to give fans what they remember without any lingering design baggage. We'll have to wait until March or hopefully a demo beforehand to see how Leon's revamped rescue mission comes together. Capcom does know that this is their golden boy with Resident Evil games, and to know that they put that much faith behind it, it's just, I'm 100% sold on this thing. Again, originally I'm just like the developers, or should I say the directors. I didn't originally want a remake, but now that it's here, now that I've seen the gameplay, the showcases, the trailers, I'm 100% sold. I don't care what anybody says. It's coming out next month. I'm beyond hyped for this game. There's even a CGI movie coming out this year though, but that's another topic for discussion in another video. But I guess that is the end of today's video. I love the character expansions, gameplay expansions. I just can't wait to see and play this game, whether if I see a demo possibly within early March, maybe this month as well, or pretty much the release date, so I'm looking forward to it. But again, that is the end of today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before the release of RE4 Remake, so I would appreciate if you guys hit that big red button. I hope you guys have yourselves a good day, good night, and a good sleep, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.